All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to look at something pretty wild, how the genuinely shocking and honestly kind of brutal practices of medieval medicine can actually give us some deeply profound life advice right now. So I want you to really think about this for just a second. What on earth could a medieval plague doctor possibly teach you? I mean, picture a physician in a dimly lit, candlelit room holding a literal jar of leeches, with absolutely zero knowledge of germs. How could that person hold the key to our modern resilience? I know it sounds a little crazy, but trust me, the lessons here are incredibly powerful. Section 1. Blind faith and balance. Acting in the dark. Let's set the scene. They had no microscopes, no knowledge of bacteria whatsoever. None. These medieval doctors were out there treating village-wiping plagues, raging fevers, and some seriously gruesome wounds using herbs, prayers, and basically whatever logic they could piece together at the time. They were fighting a massive war where the enemy was entirely invisible. Now, the contrast here is what's truly fascinating. The medieval approach meant they had to treat the invisible with whatever scrap of logic they had available. So, what's the modern lesson for us? Well, it's that you don't actually need a perfect understanding of a situation to take courageous action. Having faith in the unseen, actively moving forward even when you're completely missing some of the answers, that's a massive form of courage. Take their foundational belief in the four humors: blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. To a doctor back then, illness literally just meant these elements were out of whack. So treatment really only meant one thing, and that was restoring a delicate internal balance. The absolutely crucial point here is equilibrium. Because honestly, whether you're mixing potions in a medieval apothecary or just sitting at a desk in a modern corporate office, extremes will ruin you. Too much of anything becomes a poison. True health, true stability relies entirely on equilibrium. Moving on to Section 2, Brutal Cures, Simple Solutions, the Pain of Healing. Okay, the physical tools of their trade were frankly pretty grim. We're talking leeches, lances, cauterizing wounds with literally red-hot irons, and, all right, slightly less terrifying, honey and wine. These were crude, brutal tools that basically served as the medieval equivalent of antibiotics. Rough? Absolutely. But often, undeniably effective. And this brings us to a harsh, but incredibly true lesson. Healing is painful. The path to recovery is not always this gentle, soothing process we want it to be. Sometimes, just to survive, you have to grab that metaphorical hot iron and actively cut out whatever is poisoning your life. There's this great quote: "You don't need sophisticated tools to make a difference." It's such a fantastic reminder that the most ancient, simple remedies, like a basic jar of honey or a glass of wine, might be exactly what you need. Basically, don't overcomplicate your solutions. All right, Section 3, The Art of Resilience, Facing Failure Daily. 50%. That number is the dark truth of their profession. Medieval doctors failed far more than they succeeded. They regularly lost half of their patients, often watching completely helpless as plagues wiped out entire populations. Yet true mastery wasn't about avoiding loss at all. It was staying at the bedside anyway. True resilience means waking up, facing crushing, entirely inevitable failure, and trying again. You don't just quit when the odds are terrible. You stay at the bedside. Which brings us to Section 4, your modern prescription, taking the cure. So we've basically transformed a history of leeches and lances into a modern survival guide. Step 1, act without full understanding. Step 2, balance your humors to find that equilibrium. Step 3, embrace painful healing. Step 4, use simple tools. And finally, Step 5, stay at the bedside. To wrap this up, I really want to leave you with this question. What poison do you need to cut out of your life today? Really think about it. Because maybe, just maybe, it's time you apply a little bit of that medieval ruthlessness to your own modern healing process.